Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session, The Invisible Epidemic, Addressing Food Insecurity for Dual Enrollment Students. We're going to introduce ourselves. I am Kimberly Connell. I am the Director of K-12 Partnerships at Columbus State Community College.
I'm Nicole Martin, Regional Coordinator at Columbus State Community College.
I am Kelly Raspberry. I'm the Manager of Higher Education Partnerships with Columbus City Schools.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melanie Schaefer. I'm the Student Programming Coordinator for Higher Education Partnerships in Columbus City Schools.
And we are asking you to bear with us. We had tornadic weather earlier today, and so it has created some challenges for us technology-wise. So we will be advancing our slides, and you'll see that. So the purpose of this session is to share how a community college, Columbus State, and a K-12 school district, Columbus City Schools, work together to identify and address a student need, which is food insecurity, and subsequently increase access and equity to dual enrollment participation. We're also going to share the process in which we did that and things for you to consider if it's something that you think you may want to implement at your institution. So, what is food insecurity? Food insecurity is defined as not having access to sufficient food to meet basic needs. According to an article that recently came out from CBS News, Temple University's Hope Center said as many as 1 out of every 3 college students in the United States is dealing with food insecurity. There are approximately 800 food pantries on college campuses today versus 80 just a decade ago. So, why should we address food insecurity among dual enrollment students? Because when students don't have access to adequate food, it impacts their concentration, their memory, their mood, and their motor skills. And those are things that are all important for students to be successful. Also, many K-12 students rely on food provided by their high school as the guaranteed meal for the day if their families can't afford food. And so when they go to school, they know that their school is going to provide breakfast and lunch. And so when you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food is part of the physiological needs, the very basic. And so students cannot achieve self-actualization if their basic needs are not met. So just to give you a little bit of background and overview to provide context. So we are in Ohio, and Ohio's dual enrollment program, or one of the main dual enrollment program in Ohio, is College Credit Plus. So College Credit Plus is a state legislative program that allows middle school and high school students in public schools to earn college credit for free. And so when we think about the founding of College Credit Plus, or the inception of College Credit Plus, which started in 2015, ideally it was a means of increasing access for all students. However, the reality is that the students who are accessing College Credit Plus in general are students who would have otherwise had access. And so we are missing those students who may have other needs that need support. We have a partnership, Columbus State and Columbus City Schools, and I'm going to turn it over to Kelly Raspberry to talk a little bit about our partnership and specific programs.
Thank you. So within our Columbus City Schools, we have our department, Higher Education Partnerships, and that is who we are, partnerships. We are everything CCP dual enrollment. And under that umbrella of CCP, we have 2 very distinct programs, Junior Jumpstart and our Seniors and Sophomore program. Now, these are dual enrollment programs, but they're a little different because they're cohorted programs. Programs where we tell our kids, you apply to this program. Students that think, maybe we're ready for college, we don't know. Within these programs, it is CCP, but we offer them a wealth of support to help and guide them through this journey. So a little bit about Columbus City Schools. We are the largest urban district in Ohio, housed in Columbus, Ohio. We have 113 schools, 4,300 vulnerable youth, homeless, foster care, temporary emergency housing, 33% below the poverty level, 100% free breakfast and lunch. the power partnership. So when we talk about partnership, I really like to say relationships. This partnership with Columbus State has been in the works and has spanned for years and years. And I believe wholeheartedly the reason for that are the 3 C's: commitment, connections, and collaboration. We are both we have a collective commitment to the students and families. Columbus State understands our district's unique characteristics. And that's really important because we are the largest urban school district, but when you talk about dual enrollment in our CCP, we are the largest district that has the most minority students in our dual enrollment. And that's where Columbus State comes in, because they understand the unique characteristics and the things our students and families need. Collaboration. We are consistently collaborating everything that we do. And the one thing that we do within our district and with Columbus City Schools is that we keep our students, our families, and our community at the heart of all decisions that we make. So why does it work, the power of partnership? It works because we have accessibility and equity. Columbus State has been very, very intentional in making sure that across our district, in our middle schools and our high schools, students have equitable access to courses, whether it's online, whether it's embedded courses within the high school or on campus. They are there to make sure that all our students have access to those opportunities. One of the most important pieces that really makes this partnership work is advising and support. It goes beyond I'm your advisor, I'm going to schedule your classes. Once they step foot as a dual enrollment student, they have that advisor from beginning to end. That advisor might call them in the evenings. That advisor might text them to remind them of things they need to do. That advisor will let them know about resources to help them on campus. The next thing, social and emotional support. What we learned from COVID is that our young people, they need this support. Every time that we call Columbus State to say, hey, can you help this student mentally, whether it's socially, emotionally, they're there to offer those resources and support. And the last thing about our partnership and why it worked is that we have effective and collaborative communication with schools and district departments. So when we think about our partnership with Columbus State, it is not just within dual enrollment. It expands across our district and many of our department districts and Columbus City Schools. And the one thing that I really like about Columbus State is that they're not just focused on the students, they're focused on the community. And they are really very much ingrained in our community and our schools to making this partnership work.
So we had to identify that there was a problem. And so like Ms. Raspberry said, our partnership really was the key to being able to identify this problem. We have very transparent conversations. We have very frequent formal and informal conversations. And so as we were thinking about what some of the barriers to success for our students, and when I say our, I mean our Columbus State and Columbus City students together, might have 3 things emerged. Transportation was an issue, technology was an issue, and food was an issue. The transportation and the technology were the 2 easiest to resolve because there were things in place to make sure that they had bus passes and that they could get access to devices. Food was the difficult one. And so in talking with students, what we were finding is that for students who were taking classes all day on campus, those full-time seniors and sophomore students, they weren't eating. They just were not eating. Some of them said that maybe they would eat 1 day a week. If they had, $6 or $7, they might be able to make it stretch to eat. But by and large, they were there all day and they were hungry. And so we knew that that was something that we had to fix. So pulled a group of folks together from after having the conversation with Columbus City Schools, pulled together a group of amazing folks from Columbus State together from multiple different departments, because that notion of partnership is with us and Columbus City Schools, but also partnering internally with other departments. And so we pulled in folks from our grants department to talk about in our institutional effectiveness department to talk about what some solutions might be. And as we were thinking about solutions, our guiding principle and our non-negotiable was that whatever solution we came up with, there had to be no stigma to our students. Ideally, it would be something that we could build into the already existing infrastructure. So we looked at a few options. We looked at a food pantry option. We actually have a satellite location of one of our food banks here in the city of Columbus on our campus, which is an amazing resource for our students. However, there are age and head of household guidelines and how you can access that. And so we knew that that would be a barrier for our students. It would involve us bringing in parents who are working during the day. And so we knew that that would be a challenge. And then the food is a lot of fresh produce, which again is very amazing and healthy, but those were not ready to eat meals that students could grab before they went to campus. So another thing that we thought about was possibly reallocating state funding. And so as we mentioned, Ohio, we have the College Credit Plus program, and the funding structure for that relies on per pupil funding. And so the funding that would normally go to the districts goes to pay for the courses. And so we were wondering if it was possible for something like that to happen, to fund food for students who needed food. We also knew that that was a solution that would not be a quick solution, even if it was something that could work. Then we also considered the option of a district provided lunch, possibly a brown bag or some other prepackaged lunch that could be delivered to our campus. We knew that would get tricky because who's going to make the delivery logistically, like what location on campus. And then again, we thought about that non-negotiable, which was no stigma. And so we have just these particular students coming to get a brown bag lunch that could potentially stigmatize those students. And again, that was our non-negotiable. Then in the midst of all these conversations, COVID-19 happened and everything came to a screeching halt. No solution, everybody is at home, and the conversation just stopped there. As we came back on campus in autumn of 21, we knew this issue did not go away. In fact, we felt like COVID-19 probably had exacerbated it just because of people losing jobs and different things that happened as a result of the pandemic. And so we started considering our options again. So we were exploring current funding streams that were available at the college. We were looking at some grant funds. There was one that we had that was specific to furthering access for Columbus City Schools specifically. Although we were using a lot of that for academic pathways, we were looking at possibly being able to use those funds. But again, we always made sure that we return to our guiding principle and our non-negotiable. So what we did was we looked on campus at our dining options, and we determined that the average cost of a lunch meal on campus was about $8. And so we knew that and being able to use funds and being able to identify the grant funds that we ended up using, which were those funds that were specific to Columbus City, that we would get lunch cards. And so in autumn of 21, we piloted it with our seniors and sophomore students who are on campus all day to give them $10 gift cards to Union Cafe, which is our on-campus cafeteria. And then we eventually added Subway as an option. We have a Subway that's in our bookstore. And so we knew this was an option. They can go eat where everybody else eats. All of our other students eat in the cafeteria or eat at Subway. They can use their gift cards. They just swipe them like they are using a debit card or credit card. So there is no stigma attached. One of the other things that we thought about too is that Columbus City Schools provides free breakfast as well. And a lot of our students come to campus really early in the morning. And so we don't put restrictions on when they can use those cards. So we may have some students who may grab something for breakfast and lunch, but also we provide breakfast and snacks like little breakfast bars, little juices, things like that in our office that they can pick up when they come pick up their lunch cards. The program guidelines. So students must take on-campus in-person classes in order to receive the lunch cards. The courses must impact their ability to return to school for lunch. And so with those seniors and sophomore students, they are on campus all day. And so they don't go back to their high schools. With our junior jumpstart students, they are on class half day. Some of them may have a lunch period, some may not. That's why we said it depends on whether or not they can return to school. We will share some student testimonials later, but we have allowed our junior jumpstart students to take part in it as well because it has provided them an opportunity to meet with other students and to study and do some other things. And then you can see the outline of how many cards they get depending on how many days a week they are on campus. So this also provides an opportunity for co-curricular engagement as well, which has been really beneficial for us. So we have periodic student engagement activities with students. So we do team building activities. We talk about budgeting, and that has been very helpful with them having lunch cards and having to budget their lunch cards. There are career awareness opportunities as well, and we schedule these throughout the semester, typically on a day when their school district is out. We have joint community service opportunities. As you can see, this picture is from our day of service last year. Columbus State has an annual day of service. And so it was a win-win that students get to participate alongside us in this day of service and earn community service hours. We have quarterly meetings with the students. We have celebrations and then special opportunities. We may have special people who come in town, dignitaries, and they are our group of students that we tend to look to first for these opportunities. And we think this is connected to the lunch cards because it has built that connection with them in our office. You look at the distribution of lunch cards, it started in autumn of 21, and you see that how the numbers have increased through autumn of 23. When we first started, we only had 10 students who were taking advantage, and because as I mentioned, a lot of these conversations started before the pandemic, and then when we came back in autumn 21, it was when the world was open, but not fully open, so we still had a lot of online classes at that time. And you can see the gradual increase in the number of students who are accessing the cards, but also in the number of cards that we are distributing. So students are coming very regularly to get their cards. We started the entire year of 21-22 distributing 309 cards, and then we distributed 1,088 just for autumn semester of 2023. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Nicole Martin and Melanie Schaefer to talk about the impact of the lunch cards and the food scholarship.
Yes, so the impact of the food scholarship. So the impact of food scholarship has several positive impacts on our students. We broke them down into 4 themes. So the 4 themes are relationship building, holistic support, recruitment, self-advocacy, and connection to campus resources. So when we go through these themes, we're going to also have student testimonials. So you'll be able to see some videos from students and also read some of the testimonials that have emerged from these themes. So the first thing we would discuss is relationship building. So under relationship building is basically a touch-based opportunity. So it's an opportunity to check in with students, not only with guarding their classes, but also to reach them as a student, to see how they're doing mentally, emotionally, even physically. So we just want to touch base with that student to see how they're doing with their classes and overall them. Also, it's an opportunity for students to seek out advice. So they have an advisor they can always come to. So at Columbus State, I am the advisor for Columbus City School students. So they always have somebody they can come to seek advice for. And it also shows that I have interest in them with their personal growth and their academic journey. Also, the next one is to increase the contact with dual enrollment advisor and team connections with other college personnel. So it's an opportunity for students to come into a safe space to meet other colleagues from our department. They can get to know one another, get to know me more personally. Students collect their cards. So say for instance, they have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They will come every Monday weekly to get their lunch cards. For students that have classes Tuesdays and Thursdays, they will come every Tuesday to collect their cards. So as again, this is an opportunity to build trust between advisor and student. And also it continues this relationship building. So some students that finish the program, I still communicate with them even after they matriculate into traditional college students at Columbus State. So that communication still keeps going on. It just doesn't stop because of the program is over. They always have somebody to come to and a touch point person to seek out.
One of the great things that Columbus State offers us is the fact that they give us office space on their campus. So being in the situation where I serve as students across 4 different campuses. This is very important for me because I don't always see my students every day. They are on a Remind app where they communicate with me consistently. But the nice thing is that I know they're going to come get their food cards from Nicole on Mondays. So I make an effort to have office hours at Columbus State so that they can build a relationship with me as well, and both of us together. We feel like this opportunity fosters a sense of belonging and continues that trust. This is a testimony from one of our seniors to sophomore students, Caleb, that he's going to speak about.
The seniors and sophomores program. Something that's really guided me towards success was the lunch cards. They really helped me build a better sense of myself, and they better help me stay at campus to make the friends that I have now. On campus, I have a lot of friends, and a lot of people know me as Caleb, who is in the senior and sophomore program. And I just want to say thank you, and the lunch cards have really helped me.
So here are some of the student testimonials regarding relationship building we'd like to share. We'd like to point out in the red, it's also nice to see my counselors and socialize with people. So again, they'll come to see me or Ms. Schaefer. We'll be on campus. They'll be able to see us and their peers as well. They tend to stay on campus longer. They'll go to the Union Cafe and are able to complete their assignments as a group, as a community. And some of them say it's a great opportunity to make friends by having conversations you wouldn't have in a classroom and walking around campus. So the second thing that we came up with was holistic support and academic intervention. So under academic and resource intervention, at Columbus State, we have a thing called Starfish. So Starfish is our academic alert tool, which give us alerts with students who are under 75%. So we're able to reach out to them, send students emails. But as we know, a lot of students don't check their emails or send emails. So as they come in on every week, we're able to touch base on their academic performance, refer them to resources, and it's also an opportunity to follow up. So say for instance, they'll come in one week for their cards, conversations just come up. They'll just come for their cards, but as we continue to talk, conversations come up, challenges arise, and we're able to pinpoint and target those. And we're also able to refer them to certain resources.
Nicole and I do a great job of collaborating on interventions for the students and what will work best for them on the college campus. So that's also another thing that we can do together in this piece to provide that holistic support to students.
And another one is academic advising. This gives us an opportunity to discuss pathways. Some of them may want to matriculate into Columbus State after high school, so we'll touch base with that and do courses. So we'll talk about their courses, how well they're going, what courses they can take the next semester and in the future regarding the senior, sophomores, and junior jumpstart program.
This is a
There's another testimonial from Brianna and Shayoni.
So what the snacks do for me when I go back to school, it feeds me so like I'm not really focused on being hungry at school, so I can focus on learning and what they are trying to teach me, or whenever I just need a snack, because even to save, because I also do sports, so even after school when I need a snack to give me energy to play the sport that I want to do.
Before joining this program, I know the only thing that I was struggling to talk to with my mom was being able to get from Columbus State to high school and be able to have time for a meal in between. So being able to just take 20 minutes and get food for free at Columbus State has taken so much off my shoulders. Like I genuinely feel as though I'm supported being at Columbus State.
So with the snacks,
some of the student testimonials for the holistic support and academic intervention are, I get to communicate with advisors more, not only about academics, but life in general. Again, speaking to that trust factor. Built-in time for me to check in on my advisors each week that I probably would not prioritize otherwise. I get to spend more time on campus. I get to chat a little with Cole's teachers from last semester and catch up a bit. The last part of the food scholarship that we feel provides a great opportunity is being a recruitment tool. We provide recruitment around our district to 19 high schools that we service in our district. At this, we also hold CCP information nights, where we instruct students on how to take College Credit Plus courses. We conduct parent meetings, and we also have a district newsletter. This is a great opportunity to reach students who may not have participated because of access to food barriers. It also provides the various colleges that come to our CCP information nights and our virtual sessions to be able to see the unique opportunities that Columbus State offers. We provide opportunities for all colleges to come to these sessions and share with students and provide information. And one of the tools of information that Columbus State provides is the fact that they do offer this food scholarship that is unique to only Columbus State Community College. It does impact our students' choice on college selection for our seniors to sophomores program, because this is a barrier and it's a recognized barrier. We wish that all of our colleges would provide something like this, but again, this is what makes Columbus State Community College unique. Here are some student testimonials for recruitment. I genuinely feel as though I'm being supported at Columbus State rather being at another school and having no way to get food. When I apply to seniors and sophomores for next year, I'm going to pick Columbus State again because I don't want the stress of figuring out how I'm going to eat on another campus. And here is Brianna with her testimony.
A highlight of my year at Columbus State was just being able to be in the cafeteria with food supported by Columbus State that I could eat with my friends, and then afterwards just go to classwork and be able to learn on a full stomach. I know that the lunch cards were offered here, and no other school that I had seen was offering the same opportunity. These lunch cards have definitely taken a big struggle off of my back. Being a high school student, I do not make that much money. I'm not rich, but just knowing that I have the basic need of food has definitely helped me a lot this year.
So our last thing that we discussed that came from the food scholarship is increase of advocacy skills and connection to college resources. So students have increased and have a level of comfort now. So before they was a little shy, maybe a little standoffish, but as they continue to come around and they were able to advocate for themselves. So some students now, when they come for the food lunch cards, they're able to tell us what else they need, what other things, assistance they need. They also are able to be on campus more, and they're able to access resources on their own. So some students will study, go to the writing center on their own, and seek out tutoring service, which they had done before prior to doing receiving their lunch cards. And here's another student giving his testimony.
And I'm just wanting to tell you about like the lunch cards that we get. Basically, just to start off is I love the lunch cards personally because it helps me get like a start to my morning, and being able to eat food in the morning is like really important to me because then it helps me focus with class and stuff like that. Plus also it helps with like socializing and things of that nature, where I get to then basically either talk before class about work assignments or talk after class, and just having the lunch cards really helps because I can get a snack, and then it kind of also helps foster with other people where I can be like, hey, do you want to come down to like the cafe after class and stuff and talk about what we were doing in class, and kind of like having those lunch cards is just a really great help. And also it just gets me started and also helps me with like my work and stuff and keeping me on track.
Some of the students said that they allowed me to arrive at school early with the availability of ASL lab and deaf events. I was able to improve my ASL skills and participate in various activities after class. So as you can see, they're more involved on campus instead of just going to their classes and going back to their high school or just going home, and taking full advantage of what a campus life really has to offer. They get to talk before or after class about work assignments when they pick up their lunch card, so they're able to communicate with each other and work as a group, as a community on their assignments. And now they feel comfortable of studying together and seeking out assistance.
So as we have shared about this food scholarship and the lunch cards, and really about partnership, and because we couldn't do this without partnership, these are some of our key takeaways or things that we want you to consider if you're thinking about implementing. So the first thing, as we have talked about multiple times, partnership is key. Like, we could not have done this had we not been able to have the open conversations that we have between our college and the district that we work with. And so it was just an easy conversation for us to have, also partnering with the different offices on our campus. So we don't know, necessarily anything about the grants or the details of the grants that we have, and they were able to look into what already existed for us to be able to use grants. So that was very important. The other things to think about are sustainability. So as I mentioned, we are currently using grant funds. And so that makes it challenging because you think about, so what happens when this grant money runs out? And so that, again, I'm going to go back to partnership, because we have active conversations frequently. And so the folks in our grants department are actively looking for other funding sources to be able to sustain this before we run out of grant funds. And so again, that is key. And so as you think about possibly doing this, whatever you implement, think about the long-term sustainability of this. The other thing is data and connection to student success outcomes. So we didn't have a lot of data to share in terms of student success today. We talked about a lot of qualitative things, the increase in relationship building and accessing resources. One, because we just started implementing this in 2021. And so we wanted to have at least 4 years before we would look at that. But I think too, in being completely transparent in conversations that we have had, this is a basic need. And so yes, we keep data and we will look at data, but more than anything, regardless of what the data actually says for student success, students need to eat. It is a basic need, but it is helpful. We do log when students come to get the lunch card, so we know which students have access, they have to sign. And so we do have access to all of that to go back should we want to. But again, foundationally, our biggest priority is just making sure that students' basic needs are met. And then the other thing to think about is advocacy. And so looking for systemic solutions. So yes, this works very well for us now. We are very hopeful that our grants department will find other funding sources for us so that it is something that can continue. But as I mentioned earlier, some of the other solutions that we were thinking about, particularly like reallocation of state funding. So it's really important. And we have conversations. I know there's been a lot of like, well, Columbus State does this, but we want all of the other institutions in our area to do this. And they are open to this. We have partner meetings that Columbus City Schools leads, where they bring all of the partners to the table, and we've been able to share what we have done so that they can look at possibly doing this. And then the power again of partnership and collaboration, being able to come together to advocate, because if this is an issue at Columbus City Schools, this is an issue in every city. Students have basic needs. Food insecurity is a national issue. And so looking at how it may impact dual enrollment students is really important. So looking at how we can come together to solve this issue.
Can I chime in real quick? I know we've been talking about our cohort program, senior, sophomore, junior, jumpstart, but it's important to note that they provide this full scholarship for all of Columbus City School dual enrollment students, and they take advantage of it. So it's just not a small pocket, it is spread across our district. So I thought that was really important to note.
Thank you for noting that. So yes, they absolutely do. We just use those because they were our students that we piloted this with, but we do have students from other schools. And as a result of this, we recognize that just because a student is not in a large urban district, that doesn't mean that they don't face food insecurity. And so because of this initiative, we have had a very generous donor to step up with a separate funding stream. We call that Operation Full Belly. It's a little separate from this, but it's essentially the same principle to fund the same lunch cards for students from all districts. So any College Credit Plus or dual enrollment student that we have on our campus, if they need food, they can come and get food. So the question is, do the majority of our CCP students take classes on campus or online? So I would say that the majority, if we're looking at the total numbers, the majority are taking classes at their high school. We are the largest dual enrollment College Credit Plus program in our state, and we offer a significant number of in what we call embedded courses, and those are the courses that are our courses that we offer in the high school. But we have a significant number of students who also take classes on campus and online.
And some students do a mixture of both. They may
Yes.
do an online class, college class offered at the high school and on campus. So they do a mixture of both as well at the same time.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you so very much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We probably should- I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you mind if we come off chat or off mute and ask?
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say thank you for this presentation. I have a particular interest in the state of Ohio because my husband's whole family is there. So I think this work is extremely cool and very necessary. I love that you continue to reemphasize just meeting basic needs. And I think sometimes we just overthink what the needs are. And so I like that you just took this back to the basic level. Like we need to meet this need for people to be able to move forward and engage in dual enrollment. So I have kind of two questions. I know that you covered this, but if you could just talk a little bit again about the partners that are involved to make this happen. And then I'm also curious if you could talk a little bit more about, I know you said you didn't have a lot of data, but if you're doing anything to sort of measure these outcomes or the impact moving forward.
So the partners, it looks like my computer. The partners are Columbus State. So Nicole and I are with Columbus State, and then Kelly and Melanie are with Columbus City Schools. So that was the original partnership for this, but also internally at Columbus State, looking at our, we pulled in our grants department. We pulled in to look at, because they are the ones who are familiar with what grants we have. We looked at our, I'm sorry, we're having a minor tech issue. We looked at our institutional effectiveness department as well to pull them into the conversation because they are the ones who have the data and they assist. So that is the partnership that made this happen. And then actually corporate, we are using one of our funds from a corporate sponsorship that we had, which is AEP, American Electric Power. That is the funding that we are using because that was an already existing grant that we had that was specific to our initiatives with Columbus City Schools. And so those are our current partners. I think I also mentioned that we have very close relationships with the other higher education institutions that are local. And so we have periodic conversations that Columbus City spearheads. And so we have been talking with them about how they can implement it there as well.
And they've been very interested in that conversation because they too understand, the basic needs. And I'm gonna say, who would have thought, I've been in this district in this role for 9 years now. And one of the biggest challenge was, telling the kids, go to the dual enrollment department, talk to your counselors. And for some kids, that's a struggle. This food barrier, the scholarship has changed the game because now they're going. And what's coming out of it, everything that we talk about, just going to get that gift card, now we're able to meet them where they are. Now we're communicating even more because, they can say, you know what, Kelly didn't look that great today. Miss Raspberry, can you reach out to her to see what's going on? Or, have Nicole's like, I've been looking at your grades, what's going on? And so now they're just more open to having conversations. And like they said, just really advocating for themselves. They know that if that lunch card isn't there, they're emailing, you weren't there, where's the lunch card? So the benefits have just been wonderful, wonderful. And just the power of partnership.
Yes, they honestly get really freaked out if Nicole's not in the office. They're reminding me, they're texting me, when Nicole gonna be there? When can I pick up my lunch card? So it's a very trusting relationship that they have with us. And it's not something that they feel stigmatized at all about. They're excited to see us on Mondays. They come in smiling, and when they come and pick up those food cards.
It has also,
And sometimes when they come in, so they're used to coming in, they'll come in weekly, then they'll come in on days that they don't even have class, or if they have class and they know they're not picking up their cards. So it's just that big relationship building. I feel their confidence has increased really big times, because I have seen students who are so standoffish, don't want to talk, and then as they keep coming in week after week, their comfort level has changed. They're so good at just coming in and I'm speaking with this.
Absolutely, and they are learning the other people in our department. Like, my office is right next to Nicole's. They usually go to Nicole's and get their cards, but now, like, they'll stick their head in my office and say hi, or sometimes, like, I'll have the snacks in my office, and where before they might not have felt comfortable, like, really asking if maybe I was busy that morning and I didn't get the snacks out, like, they will come in my office like, you don't have the snacks out, like, we need the snacks. So it has really changed, and there have been conversations about college and their future plans, just those impromptu conversations that would not have happened had they not come to our office regularly.
It's like a safe space now for them. So it's basically where they can come and get everything, all the questions answered.
I have a question. So the students who are a part of this, I guess, dual enrollment program, I'm going to say that for lack of a better terminology, is the program like a school age? I mean, not school age. So if a student came to you like at like after school, or how what's the duration of the program?
You mean, in terms of when the student is on campus, or?
Yes, when the students are on campus.
It could vary. It just
Yes.
depends. They're allowed to set their own schedule. So I would say most students have a regular school day schedule. So there's sometime between 8 and probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon that mimics their regular school schedule. But we have some students who are taking evening classes, and so we allow them to get lunch cards as well, because there might be a student who does get lunch at their school, but maybe they have a 4 o'clock class straight to campus and they can't have dinner because maybe they're in class until 7 or 8. So most of them follow a traditional schedule, but it really varies.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
It speaks again to the partnership, because in the flexibility that Columbus State has in serving our students, evening classes during the day. When I say that they keep the students and families in Columbus City Schools at the center of all decisions, they really do.
Wow. That's great.
And I also want to say, we piloted this, and this, we do have this really special relationship with Columbus City Schools. But our goal, in addition to sharing this with you in case it's something that you all want to implement, we hope that a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we can talk about how this is available to every student. And again, I mentioned that we have that private donor who allows, who funds it for other students from other schools. But I would like to see it widely used by all dual enrollment students who need it.
Yeah, I said great presentation. Thank you on behalf of the students you serve, and how this program will impact others around the globe. So thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So we didn't put our contact information here, but I don't know, I'll check with Emily or someone to see if maybe we can send it out. I'm always available if this is something that you think about down the line, or after hearing this, you're talking with folks at your institution and you want to have a deeper conversation about some of the challenges, some of the other things that we've tried. Just if you just want to bounce ideas, I'm absolutely available and willing to have those conversations.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you, everyone.